Hello there, and welcome. Well, it's Friday. So, I was in my first year at teaching at a new school, and I had 3 freshman preps and 2 sophomore preps. For those who are not in the teaching business, that means I taught 2 classes of sophomores and 3 of freshmen. One of the freshman classes was regular level, and 2 of them were honors. So, we had a fire drill one afternoon during one of my sophomore preps. So the next morning, I could either go to the next lecture or do something slightly different so that I could get yesterday's lecture to the afternoon kids class and keep my classes on the same page, essentially, as far as being in sync with the instruction. So that's what I decided to do. Now, it was kind of an up in the air moment, so I had to work sort of quickly. And so I decided to read a story that I figured would take a little over half the class to read aloud if I read it. I'm very good at gauging how long something takes to read. I've been doing it that much, and I had been doing it several years at that point. So I knew this one story, the page number that it was, that if I read the story, it would take over half the class, and then we'd have time for discussion. So it was a story near the back of the book. It was a story that wasn't necessarily on the curriculum to teach. It was an optional sort of thing. And it was Katherine Mansfield's The Apple Tree. I knew I liked Katherine Mansfield. I had read her in college. And so I thought, I'll just do Katherine Mansfield's Apple Tree. So it was new to me as well as to the students. So they came in that morning, and I told them I was going to be reading a story to them, and then we would discuss it, and I wanted them to read along with me. So they took out their books and opened their books, and we're supposed to be reading along. Now, I won't spoil the plot of the story for you. It was quite a lovely story, and if you get the chance to read The Apple Tree by Katherine Mansfield, you really should. It's a wonderful story because it's surprising, and it's also something where you go, oh, that's why people are that way. It's just very enlightening sort of story. So I read the story to the students, and I got to the end, and I thought, wow. And I looked up, and there was one student in the class that looked up at the same moment that I know had the same expression on his face that must have been on mine, because he had this bright light glow in his eyes and a big smile, like, wow. And that kind of moment is precious. It's so precious, I can tell you that the boy's name was Pax Shagnon, and he was planning to be an engineer when he grew up. He looked like a baby Superman. He had dark hair and glasses, and he played football, so he was the Clark Kent, the baby Clark Kent to Superman. He was a bright young man, and he worked hard. He was disciplined. He was full of heart, and I really appreciated him. But in that moment where we both got the story the same way at the same time, he was a deep blessing to me. I've mentioned before how when I taught math, it happens pretty often that a kid gets it. And it's like a flip of a switch. And you can see it on their face, like they get it. And they're delighted that they get it. It's very encouraging to get it. But in English class, the getting things is more of a slow burn. There are kids that are very bright that get things, don't get me wrong, they get all sorts of things. But that kind of moment where you look up and there's a kid with his face like, that moment can feed the soul for years. And I'm proof of that. I simply didn't have many moments like that as an English teacher. I had lots of wonderful, wonderful moments. But that one was blessed. I'm so thankful that Katherine Mansfield wrote that story. I'm so thankful that some textbook editor put it in the sophomore textbook. I'm so deeply thankful that I got the chance to read it to my students. And of course, I'm more than thankful. I'm blessed that dear Pax looked up at me with that look on his face like, I get it. Wow. That was a great day. There were lots of days that weren't good. But that was a great day. I hope you have a great day today. I hope you see me soon, you gorgeous people.